We use ink all the time in our lives, from pens to paints for arts and crafts. But did you know that you can also use the plants around you to make ink? Today we're going to learn how to make ink from a species that is invasive to Canada. There are many different ways to make natural inks, from leaves and bark to flowers and soil. In this video, we will be drawing from a lot of Jason Logan's knowledge of ink making and his book, Make Ink, A Forager's Guide to Natural Ink Making. If you want to explore more types of inks after this video, make sure to check it out. Today, we will be using berries to make ink. We have chosen European Buckthorn because it is what's known as an invasive species to Canada. An invasive species is any plant, animal, fungus, or otherwise that was brought to an area by humans, whether intentionally or not, and ends up outgrowing the native species in an area, causing damage to the ecosystem there. European buckthorn spreads very quickly and outgrows other native plants. It also grows hundreds of dark purple berries every year, but these berries aren't edible for any of the native animals that are found here, including humans. Making ink from European buckthorn berries is a cool way to repurpose some of the berries that would otherwise become more buckthorn trees. To get started on making your ink, the first step is to collect some berries. You can go out for a walk on some trails near you or take a look in a park. When foraging, please follow the principles of the honorable harvest, which is practiced by many Indigenous nations. Don't take more than 10% of what you see. Always look around to make sure there are other specimens more than just the one you're harvesting from, and ask permission from the plant before you take it. Since buckthorn is an invasive species, we can take as many berries as we want. Come prepared with a container or a Ziploc bag to put your finds in. You can also choose to bring gardening gloves, a plant ID guide, or a phone with a nature ID app like iNaturalist downloaded, or a backpack. Many native and non-native species of plants are very difficult to tell apart. It can be very harmful to native plants if you accidentally take their berries, so please do not pick berries from plants that you are unsure of. Many of these plants can also be toxic, so it's better to be safe than sorry. For example, there are native species of buckthorn in Canada, which we don't want to take from. Make sure you're able to tell the difference between the two when you're harvesting the berries. European buckthorn has leaf veins that curve towards the center of the leaf, leaves that sprout opposite each other, and branches that come out at sharp, jagged angles. The sharp thorns at the ends of the stems are also a dead giveaway. It is very important not to drop the berries when you're walking around, as this can further spread the invasive species. Fill your Ziploc bags with about 2 cups of berries and you're good to go. Once you have your berries, you can freeze them if you're not planning on making ink straight away. To make your ink, you'll need the following supplies. This list can also be found in the description box down below. Of course, you'll need your berries, a pot, a measuring jug, some measuring spoons, coffee filters, a funnel, some white vinegar, salt, gum arabic, some small jars, and as an option, also lemon or lime juice if you want to experiment with the color of your ink. The first step is to boil our berries. For 2 cups of berries, add half a cup of water. Add a pinch of salt and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar to your pot. This will help to draw out the moisture from the berries. Turn up the heat and boil for 20 to 30 minutes, stirring occasionally so it doesn't burn. The water should quickly turn a dark purple-blue color. You can mash the berries with a fork or potato masher or a spoon to extract the juices while you're boiling as well. Test the ink as you boil it by dipping some strips of paper in to see if you like the color. After boiling for about 20 minutes, you can bring the mixture down to a medium heat and then to a low heat to simmer so the water can continue to evaporate. Let the mixture cool before straining. It might become sticky at the bottom of the pot, so you can put a bit of water in to dilute the pigment and loosen it up so you can pour it. Set up your coffee filter, measuring jug, and funnel and strain the liquid through the coffee filter. This will help to catch any little pieces of dirt or berry pulp that we don't want in our ink. To get a darker, more intense ink, reboil the pulp and squeeze even more color out of your berries. Then, reboil all the liquid you've collected to let more of the water evaporate, which will make the color even more intense. After the ink has been separated from the plant pulp, it's really important that you don't throw out any of the berries into the compost or your garden. The seeds can still germinate even after being boiled, and we don't want to spread this invasive species. Put all of the berries and seeds into a black garbage bag, leave the bag out in the sun to fully lose all of their moisture, and then send them straight to the landfill. Once you've strained your ink, measure how much you have. Add 1 part gum arabic to 10 parts ink. In our case, we have about a 1/4 cup of ink, which is 60 mils, so I'll add 6 mils of gum arabic to my ink. Stir to combine. If you want to experiment with different colors of ink, you can split the mixture into different parts. To get a pinkish ink that eventually dries green, add 1 teaspoon of lemon juice and 2 teaspoons of vinegar, and adjust as needed. To get a bright green ink that dries an orangey yellow, add 1 teaspoon of baking soda and adjust as needed. Changing the volume of acids and bases in this ink will give you different colors, so have fun with it. Don't forget to add a whole clove to each jar of ink to stop mold from growing and to make your ink last longer. Your ink is now ready to use. Grab some brushes and some paper and see what you can create. Watercolor paper is best because the ink can be quite watery. Inks made from natural sources are also what we call living inks, so they will change color on the paper after they dry. Buckthorn ink often goes from a dark purple to a bluish gray, and then can even go to green if you've added some lemon juice and vinegar. The kind of paper you buy can also change the color of the ink because paper has different levels of acidity. Here is an ink that I made from staghorn sumac. As you can see, it's a completely different color to the buckthorn. However, sumac is a native species, so please don't try this one at home. It's so cool to see the different colors that you can make from all of the plants around us. Happy painting!